Hello and welcome to Necromundown, Vehicles Part 2, the Custom Vehicles.
Not the electric boogaloo?
No.
Oh, okay.
There are no electric vehicles in Necromundown.
I was going to say the gasoline boogaloo.
They long ago stopped caring about environmental safety. It's Promethean Boogaloo.
Oh, Promethean boogaloo. Oh, yeah.
There's our episode title.
Yeah.
So we talked about the general rules for vehicles last episode.
Blink.
But we kind of left you on a little bit of a cliffhanger because besides vehicles...
Was it the amount of times we said we'll get to that and then we didn't get to it?
We'll get to that. No. Take a drink. But besides all the vehicle rules, one of the most fun parts of vehicles in Necromunda is there's an entire built-in custom kit bashing system. This is my favorite thing about the entire vehicle thing in Necromunda. Yeah,
it is the most intricate and detailed thing that they've done in a while.
Right. There's more customizability here than even there is in the gangers. Necromunda does encourage you to kit bash your gangers. I mean, heck, with the most recent Apocrypha, where they released the mutant.
Yeah, the mutant one.
They basically said, no, we don't have models for these. Make your own.
Yeah, make them.
And I love that that still exists in some quarter of Warhammer.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of it elsewhere.
True.
But with the custom vehicles, it's not even we don't sell models for all these. It's we very specifically don't even sell models that are supposed to be these things.
Right.
Because the ones that are supposed to be something specific have their own stats.
Yep.
So what we're going to talk about today is kind of a guide to custom vehicles, what the different kinds are, what they do, and how they compare to the pre-builts.
Right.
Because I think the pre-builts are going to be the entry point for a lot of folks.
Yeah, they're easier to wrap your head around. You just buy a kit, and we'll get into their customization. But basically, the stuff that's in the kit is the stuff that you can put on it.
Right.
So yeah, they are definitely the easier thing to do.
Right. So let's get started with light vehicles.
The light vehicles.
Is
Is that your title card?
Yes.
Okay. Previously we mentioned they basically have the stats of a ganger that's just really fast.
With suspensors.
With suspensors.
And I feel like that can't be overstated.
You are correct. They are movement 7, front, side, and rear, all 3 for their armor. A hull point of 1, which is very bad. Handling of 6, which is very good. And a save of 5, which is fine.
It's probably what you would start with on a ganger.
Yeah. And all that for 50 points.
Yes, 50 credits plus crew.
Plus crew,
so
that is true.
Actual minimum, for all the ones we're going to talk about here, add 20 credits.
Yep,
because
20 credits minimum.
20 credits is how much the cheapest crew, the Scum Racer crew, costs. You don't have to use a Scum Racer crew for your customs, though.
True.
You can use your house crew. And if you have
use any crew you want.
And if you have one, you probably should, because they're always better.
Yeah. One way or another, they're better. All of the custom vehicles, you get to pick a locomotion, which is you are either wheeled or tracked. We talked about that a little bit last time. Tracked, you're slower, but you're not slowed down by terrain, whereas wheeled, you're faster, but you get stuck in mud, it's going to hurt.
You can also, well, no, never mind, sorry, I was about to say you can pick walker, but you can't. That's entirely different.
That's an entirely different
thing. I keep forgetting about that.
And then all of these have upgrade slots, which are their body, drive, and engine, and you get so many upgrades depending on the size of your vehicle. The light vehicle in particular gets 1 body, 2 drive, and 2 engine.
Which is more than I would have thought, but not very many.
Not very many.
So, and what does it come with by default? Does it have, no, it doesn't even have an equipment list,
does not have a default because it's custom, and all the customs have the same options.
Right, which are listed in the book before the custom vehicle section.
Yep.
Or no, sorry, after.
It's after
right after the custom vehicle section. All custom vehicles have the same options at, I was about to say character creation, vehicle creation.
Correct.
Which, in a nutshell, we won't go over all of them, but they are, as far as weapons, you can pick an autogun, lasgun, grenade launcher, long las, harpoon launcher, heavy stubber, mining laser.
Yep.
And then a few of the more general use vehicle upgrades.
So being able to put a transport so that you can use it as bring your crew up there.
Even on a light vehicle.
Yep, even on a light vehicle.
That is the fun thing. None of the vehicle chassis, the custom vehicle chassis, have any restrictions on the type of equipment you can bring.
Right.
If you want to put a las cannon on a light vehicle and go to town, go ahead. You can do that.
I think the only restriction is some of the equipment can only be put on wheeled or tracked.
Yes. That's mostly for drive upgrades that affect your handling.
Yeah.
That's kind of the unwritten part of wheeled versus tracked. And we probably should have mentioned this last episode, but kind of slipped my mind.
Sure.
It is much easier to get a better handling score with wheeled than tracked.
True.
Because there are 2 different handling upgrades that can only be put on wheeled vehicles.
Makes sense.
So keep that in mind.
Which is a little strange because you think it would be harder to flip a tracked vehicle.
Right. And being tracked does not inherently increase your handling.
Right.
It does over difficult terrain, but not against getting shot.
Correct.
So for the light, it's companion, it's comparison.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, it has 2 of them, I think. Number 1 is the Wolf Quad.
Okay.
So the Wolf Quad is the Genestealer Cult's Wolf Quad, which doesn't come in its own kit.
No, it comes with the Atlan Jackals.
Yep. Which are motorbikes,
Yep.
and currently are the only way to get motorbikes.
Basically, yeah.
If you're looking to build any kind of bike gang, that's probably a good buy.
Yeah, it is good.
The Wolf Quad is 70 credits instead of 50 for the custom.
Mm-hmm.
Again, plus 20.
Plus crew.
For those extra 20 credits, you get another inch of movement. So default movement of 8.
That is really good.
Same toughness, front, side, and rear of 3. You get an extra hull point, an extra point of handling, starting at a 5 up, and then the same save. Now, the Wolf Quad is more specifically limited on what equipment you can put on it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a hard sell unless you have a specific idea in mind of what you want to do with the light. It's hard not to just say that the Wolf Quad's a flat better deal.
Yeah, for only 20 credits, you get a whole lot of stuff.
The additional hit point alone is worth 20 credits.
Yep.
And an additional handling.
And movement. And you get agile.
Yep.
Which means you can make 2 turns in a movement instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you can technically do a 180 in a single move.
Yep.
If you want to do donuts.
Yeah.
You do always have to be wheeled because that's what the model comes with.
Yes.
And you do have -1 to your number of drive upgrades.
Yep, I was about to say that. I think it's just kind of like, for most of the customs versus the pre-builts, the pre-builts often have less upgrade slots because they're kind of built in.
Yeah.
This one basically has an additional inch of movement and hull point built in.
Yeah, so you get -1 to your drive upgrades.
Which is a pretty good deal because usually hull points come from body upgrades.
True. The only other thing I want to mention about, that we haven't mentioned yet about the specific vehicles being the Wolf Quad and all the Genestealer Cult stuff, is that their upgrades are very specific on what they can take.
Yes, I did mention that. And when I say very specific, I mean that the Wolf Quad can only take 3 weapons: heavy flamer, heavy stubber, and mining laser. It can only take headlights and flare launchers as its work gear.
Sure.
It's much more limited. You can't put a rock grinder ram on a Wolf Quad.
I just tried to pull your book over here, and then I realized I had one in front of me.
So there's kind of a pros and cons for that. The other comparison, though, that I'd like to make for a light vehicle is comparing it to a ganger.
Yes.
Because they have basically the same defensive stats.
Oh, yeah.
Toughness 3. What does the light vehicle have over a ganger? Keeping in mind that most gangers are 40 to 50 credits at start.
Just about.
60 for the very upper end.
Sure.
The light vehicle gets an extra 2 inches of movement over most starting gangers. Most starting gangers have 5 instead of 7.
Yeah. Occasionally they'll have 6 on a faster crew.
Yep. Escher have 6.
Escher have 6.
Goliath and squats have 4.
Hodor... Oh, no, it's Jubes that are faster, not gangers.
Most Juvies have 6.
Yeah.
Escher have, I think, 7.
Really?
I might be wrong on that. In either case, you're getting a little speed.
Yep.
Again, built-in suspensors. Remember that heavy weapons on a ganger can't be fired as a basic action. It takes 2 actions.
Yep.
Vehicles ignore that. Suspensors are normally 60 credits.
Yeah. So, like, even on a custom, spending 70 with crew just by itself, that's pretty good.
You also get more better action economy because it is easier to move and then move and shoot, which a ganger certainly cannot do.
Yeah. So a light vehicle, for example, could move 7 and then 3.5 and then still shoot with a heavy weapon and with like no penalty and all that stuff.
Vehicles also cannot be pinned, and provided when you do get hit, there's a lower chance to lose a hull point than there is to just lose a hit point.
Yes. Just like beating toughness and then failing an armor save is a thing, but if you beat their toughness and then fail an armor save, you still have to roll on the vehicle damage table, which means it could just be like, oh, your crew,
concussed.
Yeah, your crew's concussed.
Upsides to gangers, though. Number 1, the light vehicle maxes out at a 5-up save.
Yep.
There is no way to increase the save
of any vehicle.
Of any vehicle.
Yep.
You can add another hull point. You can add another toughness for 25 credits.
Yep.
That's one of the most common upgrades. But you can't ever get better saves.
Correct.
So
I do want it to be mentioned that you can bring different weapons on the specific vehicles.
yes.
You can't bring different equipment.
Yes, I should say that. Once you buy the vehicle, you can go to the trading post and get any...
You can go to town.
Yes. Same thing with war gear.
Um,
Weapons and war gear,
Yes.
but not upgrades.
Weapons and war gear.
Mhm.
Hang on. Pausing. Additional war gear. Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Yes. Weapons and war gear can be fully customized. Gangers, here's the other thing, though. If you put a heavy weapon on a vehicle, a light vehicle to start with, you're spending probably 120 credits or something.
Yeah.
Who starts with your heavy weapons in a gang?
A champion.
Right.
A leader.
And what kind of weapons or ballistic skill do they usually have?
3 or better?
3 or better?
Yeah.
Your vehicle is always going to start with a 4.
Yep.
So it might not be an efficient use to put it on a light vehicle.
Yeah. That is the problem, is that every single crew that is currently in the game starts at a 4.
Yes.
So you're either going to want some way to increase that, aka a weapon that gives you increase for the range band, or something that gets around it, aka a template weapon.
Yeah. Like a heavy flamer.
Like a heavy flamer or a Weber or even a grenade launcher is a good choice because, yes, if you miss, but it scatters and you could still hit and you could still do damage.
We won't go too much into the specifics of building.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a later video. But the grenade launcher is one of the default choices on weapons or on vehicles for a reason.
Yes, on purpose.
So pros
It
of
also looks really cool attached to a vehicle.
that too. So pros of a light vehicle.
It's really fast.
It's really fast.
It has good handling.
It's very cheap.
It's very cheap. And
It's got suspensors built in,
it's basically 50 points for suspensors.
which is good.
Yeah.
Cons of a light vehicle.
It's basically as tough as a ganger. It saves really bad and you can't be increased.
And it can only play in the Ash Wastes.
Yeah, you can only play an Ash Wastes.
You can't take that wolf quad inside.
True.
Even if you think you should be able to. You
If
can't
you-
drive it up the...
If you absolutely deck out your light vehicle with a, las cannon and extra armor and extra wheel spikes and all that stuff, and you're indoors, well, it sits on the sidelines.
And then you'll go outside and you'll still die to a heavy bolter. So keep that in mind, I guess.
Yep.
Moving on to medium vehicles. Da, 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 da.
You will notice a small pattern of the stats shifting. For 130 credits, you receive movement of 6, front, side, and rear armor of 5, a hull point of 3, significantly better, a handling of 7, and a save of a 4+. Same thing, locomotion and all that stuff. It has 2 body, 2 drive, and 3 engine upgrades this time. And with the same options for weapon upgrades as all the previous ones.
Right.
So for -1 movement, you get 2 extra hull points. -1 movement and -1 handling. You get 2 extra hull points, 2 extra armor on all sides, and a +1 to your save, and more options for your customization. I think the medium vehicle is a good medium point.
Yes. Honestly, for most conversion projects, I think the medium is a good starting point.
I agree.
For one thing, there's not a lot of small vehicles that are the size of a wolf quad in Warhammer 40,000.
No, you kind of have to take some liberties if you actually want to make a small vehicle.
Right. It's kind of hard because most of them are already in the game,
Yeah.
like either as the wolf quad or a motorbike.
Yeah.
There are also the faction-specific vehicles. We are not getting into those today.
No, we're not doing
because
any of those
the
today.
Mauler and the Orlok quad are both essentially light vehicles.
Yeah. Or, yeah, I believe they exactly are light vehicles,
Yes.
but they have their own quirks.
Right. Now, this is also where you start to get into the drifting between the pre-builts and the customs.
Yeah.
Because the pre-built medium is the Ridge Runner, another Gene Stealer Cults vehicle. All of them are Gene Stealer Cults vehicles. Spoiler.
Yeah.
The Ridge Runner is 95 credits, so a full 35 points cheaper than a custom medium.
Yep.
It has an additional movement point, so movement 7. So the Ridge Runner moves as fast as a light.
Yep. As a custom light.
But it has less toughness on the side and rear arc.
Yeah.
It's 5 front, 4 side, 4 rear. Hit points of 3, that's the same.
Same.
But handling 7,
That's the same.
and a save of 5
So a worse save
than the custom.
than the custom.
It also swaps around drive and engine slots
Okay.
because it has 2 body, 3 drive, 2 engine instead of 2, 2, 3.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one, and this one comparison's a little harder.
Yeah.
Whereas the Wolf Quad is functionally flat better unless you really want something out of the upgrades.
Yeah.
The Ridge Runner is not flat better. It's faster, but it is significantly less tough.
Yeah.
4 to 5 toughness is an important breakpoint in Necromunda.
Yeah, I agree.
There are a lot of strength 4 weapons.
Mm-hmm. It's really easy to get a weapon to strength 4.
Bolters.
Yeah.
Bolt guns are everywhere.
Las guns with the... Las guns with the...
One of their 8-4...
Yeah, one of their 8 upgrades.
Yeah.
Gets to T4. Or
Right.
Strength 4.
The Flamer.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of things are strength 4.
Yep.
So getting to toughness 5 is an important breakpoint.
Yep.
Keep in mind, you can pretty easily add armor to all of these with the body upgrade, but it's worth noting that the Ridge Runner can't take that body upgrade.
Ah, gotcha. So you could increase a medium vehicle up to toughness 6.
Which is also an important breakpoint
It
because strength 5 is also a common.
Yeah. It's less common than 4,
Yes,
but it's
heavy bolters and heavy flamers being the main ones.
going up to 6 is very good. And strength 3 vehicles need 6s to win.
Right.
Which is also very good.
Yeah.
No, strength 3 weapons need 6s to win.
Yes.
Whereas the Ridge Runner can't increase its defenses basically at all.
Right. So you're stuck at 5-4-4 and a 5-up save.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is that you are an inch faster.
And cheaper.
And cheaper by an entire 35 credits. And 35 credits ain't nothing.
35 credits is a juvie.
Right. The war gear that it comes with, or the upgrades that it can take, it can very easily get all of the good drive upgrades, but not many of the good vehicle upgrades.
It should also be mentioned that the Ridge Runner has a built-in transport area.
This is true too.
So if you were going to make your medium vehicle into a transport and your armor is like secondary, it's not a terrible option.
Something we kind of forgot to note is weapon hardpoints. Because the customs don't come built with any weapon hardpoints. They come with 1.
Yeah, they all come with 1.
They come with 1 that only has a 45-degree arc.
Oh, sorry, the heavy comes with 2.
They come with 1 that has a 45-degree arc. Heavy comes with 2. The Wolf Quad comes with 1 that has a 45-degree arc. That's the same. But the Ridge Runner comes built in with 2 weapon hardpoints.
Yep.
Whereas normally you would have to pay 25 credits for an additional one.
Right.
The Ridge Runner comes with a crew-operated arc front one, and then a passenger-operated arc front.
Okay.
Which, considering it comes with a transport, means that basically the Ridge Runner is encouraging you to stick somebody on there in the back.
And also shoot with them. Being able to use their ballistic skill in the meantime.
Right. So there's a lot there for cheap.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the Ridge Runner is worth it if you are looking for a couple transport slots, because you're only fitting 2 models there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If you're on 32s, you're probably only fitting 1.
Yeah, probably.
You're only putting 2 or maybe 1 or 2 models on there. But if you want something that can transport maybe a guy into combat, or have a weapon being crew operated, I think that's when you get the Ridge Runner.
I agree.
Because otherwise, it's not as tough, it's not as durable, and it will die.
It's, so, end all be all, it's more offensive and less defensive.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. It's also a cool looking kit.
Oh, it's really cool. I need to buy one, but I'm waiting for the data slate. So let's see if they get nerfed.
That's a good point. Yeah, because they're very popular in Games of the Cult stuff.
In 40K.
At time of recording.
Yeah.
By the time it comes out, the data slate will have come out, so you'll know whether Mitchell's happy or sad.
Post in the comments below.
Wait, make a sad face so we can put that up there too. There we go. There we go.
That's my sad face.
Okay, so the pros and cons for a medium. Pros.
It's less, for the medium specifically, I think it's less pros and cons, and I think it's just good all around.
This feels like your default starting point.
I agree.
I think pros would be easiest to kit bash because
Sure.
most things are in the medium range.
Yeah.
Heavy kind of leans more towards, I bought a tank.
Yeah.
Lights are kind of hard to, I bought a tank.
Lights are hard. Yeah.
I kind of say that there's no real cons to a medium.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I guess you could say a little pricey, but if
Yeah.
you did the math on what you would get out of a champion for that much and a medium vehicle, the medium vehicle is going to be, more restrictive on where you can bring it, but a lot tougher.
Oh, a lot tougher. Way tougher.
Good luck getting a ganger to toughness 6 all around, right?
Yep.
The Ridge Runner, though, Ridge Runner, I think, does get a couple cons.
Yes.
Pros, cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Cons, weak for the cost, I think.
Sure.
And limited upgradability. compared to a medium.
Yeah, definitely. But other than that, mediums are generic enough to be able to fit basically any chassis. You can attach anything to them, make them higher armor, make them faster, make them just a weapon transport, make them ganger transport. They're good at everything. Not last for you, but not last for me.
Well,
we have the heavy vehicle,
right,
which is 175 credits this time. Movement 5, front, side, and rear toughness of 7 to start with. Hull points of 4.
Yep.
A handling of 8, and a save of a 4. It has 4 body, 3 drive, and 2 engine upgrades. This thing is tough.
Yes.
They are ridiculously hard to put down with no upgrades on them.
Right.
And you can make them even tougher.
So it's because it's toughness 7 all around, right?
Toughness 7 all around.
Pretty easy to get toughness 8 with 25 credits. Yeah. And how much? It's 170 credits
175.
total? So for 45 credits more than a light or medium, you're getting 2 additional toughness all around.
Yep. Minus 1 movement, 2 additional toughness, plus 1 hull point, and minus 1 to your handling. You have an 8-up handling.
Right. Now, I will say that 8-up handling is bad.
8-up handling is bad.
You will want to increase that as soon as possible. Because when you cross that threshold of 7 to 8, you are now failing your handling checks more than half the time.
More than you're passing them, and that is probably the #1 way I've seen vehicles die.
I don't think I've ever seen a heavy vehicle in our games. No, I have killed one naturally a couple times.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen one.
If you have enough las cannons,
Fair enough.
everything looks like a hammer or a nail. If you have enough las cannons, everything looks like armor to cut open.
That's true.
But usually what happens is that heavy vehicles, they get hit and then they lose control.
Yep.
And they either flip or they go where they don't want
Run
to
into
go.
more stuff, get stalled, all that.
Right. But good heavens, this is where you start getting into the what we talked about with our stance on vehicles in Necromunda, which is that vehicles did introduce the need for building against them.
Yep.
With mediums, strength 6 is, or toughness 6 is a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But it's not toughness 7.
Yeah.
Going up to toughness 8. On toughness
so tough.
8, all those strength 4 weapons we talked about are now wounding on 6s.
Yep. Everything basically up into a Melta and Laz are wounding on 5s.
Right.
Yeah, it's rough.
And even a Melta is wounding on a 4. Keep in mind that in Necromunda, Meltas are still strength 8.
Yep.
Not strength 9 like they are in 40k. So yeah, this is where we start to get into the, if you're looking for something that can't be killed easily, you start looking into heavies.
Agreed.
Now the heavy is compared against the Rot Grinder. And I'm just going to say it right now, if you're playing a heavy, you almost just want to bring the Rot Grinder.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay. I'm
Because
listening.
it's 145 credits.
Okay.
So for 20 credits cheaper.
30.
30 credits cheaper. Same movement. It loses 1 toughness in the rear. Has the same handling. Has a 4-up save.
Yep.
Has the same hull points of 4.
So the only thing that has changed so far is the rear toughness.
Correct. That's all you lose.
Yep.
It comes with 2 weapon hard points, which so does the heavy. The heavy does come with 2. 1 is passenger operated, 1 is crew operated. I will grant that is a downgrade.
Yes.
Because
although I think the Rot Grinder has, one of them is front and left, and the other one's front and right.
Yes.
So it already has an arc extra built in.
That's what I was about to say.
Which is nice.
Yes, you are limited in your hard points.
Yeah.
But you do have the front 2 arcs built in, which is the savings of 50 credits.
Yeah.
That's not nothing. Upgrade slots 3, 3, and 3.
Sure.
Which is the same.
Yeah. No.
Oh, no?
4, 3, 2.
Oh, 4,
for
3, 2.
custom.
Interesting.
So you can get an extra body, but 1 less engine.
Okay. Interesting. The Rot Grinder comes with almost all of the upgrades that matter.
True.
It still gets the pneumatic radials, which is +1 handling, and tire claws, which is +1 handling. It gets the nice engine upgrades like smoke vents, which give you -1 to be shot at all times. And it has great default heavy weapons.
True.
Including the twin-linked autocannon.
Yeah, that one's very strong.
Because remember, twin-linked in Necromunda means you just reroll failed ammo rolls. And autocannons are great. Yeah, I think that for 30 credits less,
yeah,
the one major
good.
thing you're losing is the ability to increase the toughness to 8 all around instead of 7.
That's true.
which only matters against meltaguns.
Basically.
Because meltaguns are functionally the only strength 8 weapon in Necromunda.
Yeah, you could get melee to strength 8, but
Sure.
like, you got to work for it.
Melee's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, true.
And if you're going after melee or vehicles with melee, you have a plan.
You have a plan or that guy is dead.
You have a plan or a jetpack or both. I think the Rot Grinder is a flat upgrade for 30 credits less.
Yeah, you convinced me.
Yeah.
You're pretty... Unless you have some custom thing in equipment that you need to put on your heavy weapon, you should just probably take a Rot Grinder.
The Rot Grinder does also come with a transport area.
Yep.
And that one you can fit a good 2 models?
So I can fit 2 32 mil bases in my current crew, so probably 3 25s.
Which, maybe that's not as much as you want, but unless you're converting a flatbed truck, you're not going to be able to fit that many more in a non-transport cage.
True.
Yeah, I think the Rot Grinder is just better. It's also one we keep seeing in our campaigns, probably for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, I did just mention I have one in my current game.
Because if you're going to buy a heavy, save 30 credits
and be functionally the same thing.
Right.
And a little bit better.
Right.
A little bit better.
With only the downside of a meltagun, it wounds you on a 3 instead of a 4.
Yeah.
Which is not nothing.
Yeah.
But meltas are short range.
True.
Against vehicles, they don't have... The melta keyword is much less effective, ironically.
I did just have both of my vehicles wrecked by a meltagun in my last game.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah. It's because it was on the back of a Rot Grinder. And I rammed him with my Rot Grinder, and I didn't kill it. And that was a problem.
Yes, and then he lit you up.
And then he let me up. And then my other one rammed it, didn't kill it, so he lit that one up too.
How many Rot Grinders do you have?
No, the other one wasn't a Rot Grinder.
Oh, I see.
It was Rot Grinder v Rot Grinder, and then my medium vehicle came in for the side swipe.
And didn't do anything.
And it didn't do anything.
Yeah, not wise.
No.
So yeah, I think the Rot Grinder is...
Yeah, you're probably right.
That being said, mediums and heavy is where the meat of all the fun conversion stuff is.
Oh yeah, definitely. Kevin has a Land Raider, a poor Land Raider, that he basically split down the middle to make it his vehicle for his SWATs.
It's his dwarf party bus.
His dwarf party bus.
It's terrifying. You can fit a Vartigen on there.
Yeah, can. There's been some really, really cool stuff, and there's a whole bunch of opportunity for the medium.
I think Travis used a repulsor at one point.
Yep, used a repulsor. The transport vehicle for the AdMech, I don't remember what that one's called, is also really good.
Oh, the Dune Strider.
Yep.
No.
Dune Drifter?
Disintegrator. That's the non-transport one.
Yeah. But it has the same...
Yeah, Scorpius.
Scorpius.
The Torox makes a great medium vehicle.
Yep, I used that in my last campaign.
Great transport cage medium vehicle. Any kind of guard vehicle can very easily be a heavy vehicle.
Basically any of them.
Now, pros for the heavies. Let's start with the heavy, and then we'll do the Rot Grinder.
Yes.
Pro number 1, tough as nails.
Good dang, they're tough.
Yeah, strength 7, easily going up to 8.
Yeah.
Is good luck, have fun.
Yeah.
Your meltaguns are going to fail to wound half the time.
Yep. They are really hard to put down. They are, especially for the customs, can transport a whole lot of guys.
Easy to have stuff transport. 2 built-in weapon hardpoints.
Yep.
Means that this thing is probably offensively very good.
Yep. And because it's a custom, you can pick if those are crew or passenger operated.
Right.
So if you're someone like Van Sar with a 2-up ammo or a 2-up ballistic skill, you can sit on that, las cannon all day and just boing, boing, boing while still being able to move your full distance.
Right. Cons for the heavy.
Very expensive.
Expensive for what you get. Bad handling.
Very bad handling. Again, upgrade that as soon as possible.
At best, you're going to get to 6 up.
Yep.
Which is pretty good, and you should, but then it's taking your upgrade slots.
Yeah, it's taking up your 2 of your upgrade slots. And it without upgrades, it's pretty slow. I mean, that being said, it's still being able to move 5 plus 2.5 and still fire.
Means you are naturally faster than a ganger.
Right.
But you're not fast. I will also say that a big con is that they're big.
They are big. They're hard to hide.
Yep. Now, there's nothing in the rulebook that says the stated sizes of these chassis, by the way.
Yeah.
So this is kind of one of those things of there is no honor in breaking Necromunda.
True.
Yes, you could make a small little motorbike and say it's a heavy weapon or a heavy vehicle.
There's technically nothing against the rules in that except your arbitrator telling you not to.
Right. And arbitrators, that's on you.
Yeah.
Now, the Rot Grinder. Pros.
It's
efficient for its cost.
Yeah, it's cheaper and basically the same as in heavy.
Is it expensive? Yes, but it's efficient for those points. Good heavens.
How is that thing? You said it's what, 145?
Yeah.
How is it 15 points cheaper than a medium custom?
Wait, how much is a medium custom?
130.
15 points more expensive than a medium custom.
Sorry. I meant this is 15 points cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how is it 15 points more?
That's where things start looking really bad.
Yeah.
Is when you compare the pre-built rock grinder to the custom medium.
Yeah.
For 15 credits, you get
a whole lot.
2 points of frontal and side toughness, built-in transport bed.
2 weapon upgrade, 2 weapon hard points instead of 1.
Now, the cons, again, bad handling.
Yeah, terrible handling.
Bad handling, slow, and the rock grinder is a big target.
Yes.
You will not be able to easily hide that thing behind cover.
Right.
And good. Heaven forbid you have some kind of downside.
I just wanted a sneak attack rock grinder.
Rock grinder out of nowhere.
Can I get infiltrate to my rock grinder crew?
No. Just the spawn noise.
We do have one more custom to talk about. It's the black sheep.
Yeah.
Of the family.
And doesn't have anything to compare to.
No, there's no generic. There is no non-custom vehicle.
Right.
Of this category.
And it is?
It's the walker. Think of Scout Sentinel.
Yeah, and that's functionally what it is.
Yeah. They could have just put Scout Sentinel in as an option, but they didn't.
See, here's the thing that's weird to me is I don't understand why the walker isn't just a locomotion choice.
Yeah.
If I want to build a heavy walker, I should be able to.
I guess not.
And I think we actually have a house rule for that, don't we? I don't think anybody actually used it, but we kind of floated it.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, we floated it as the idea of just being able to pick walker as a locomotion type.
Sure.
And attach it to the stats of anything else.
Which you can do.
Yeah, the walker has the same... No, it doesn't have the same stats. The walker has bad stats, honestly.
So it's for 70 credits.
Mhm.
It is movement 5. So the movement of a heavy. Front, side, and rear armor of 3. So the toughness of a light. Oh, sorry, I say armor, I mean toughness. 2 hull points.
Yep.
That's good. Handling of 4.
The best handling.
The best in the book. And a save of 5, which is again a light.
What the walker gets as locomotion is that it doesn't get extra speed or lose speed, but it can make 2 turns every time you activate instead of 1, kind of like Agile.
So yeah, it's basically Agile, but without being also wheeled.
And the walker has 2 body, 1 drive, 2 engine upgrades.
Yep.
Most of the really good handling increasing things don't apply to a walker.
Yeah, because they all attach to wheels. But yeah, it's really weird. You're kind of in the process of making one.
I shelved it.
Yeah, because it's difficult.
Because it's difficult, and a walker is by its nature tall, so it's hard to hide.
Yep.
But you have terrible defensive stats.
And you're slow.
And being able to quickly turn doesn't matter that much in Necromunda. Not right now.
No, it doesn't. Even a heavy or a ridge hauler, R.I.P. Can make 2 turns and just turn 180.
That's one of the big things, is that this book was written before the new collected rulebook.
True.
And the collected rulebook did add that everything can make 2 turns now.
Yes.
So
that's true.
Walker
So it's
doesn't matter as much.
Even worse.
Right.
It should be cheaper than a light.
Yeah, the fact that it's also 70 credits, the fact that it's as much as the Wolf Quad. If you
Yeah.
compare those 2 things to each other.
They're not very
You know what?
comparable.
Yeah, let's just use the Walker as comparison to the Wolf Quad, all right?
Okay.
The Wolf Quad's better. Anyway,
Moving on.
pros and cons of the Walker. Pros.
It's got good handling.
Yeah, that is a pro. You know, handling 4
Handling 4 is really good.
means you're not going to fail many handling checks.
Nope.
Cons, it doesn't matter because you're going to die. I mean, you've got 2 whole points to play
You
with.
have 2 whole points. You can increase those to toughness 4 all around.
Con is that it's slow.
Yeah.
It's weak.
If you want like an ATST type.
It's tall
like-
and hard to hide. Yeah, if you want to figure out why the ATST is not actually a good weapon, play a Walker in Necromunda.
I do have I have a personal gripe with the Walker. Every good Walker has a melee weapon, and you cannot put a melee weapon on a Walker.
Correct.
That really annoys me, and I wish that were different.
You can put a rock grinder ram on it though, can't you?
Yes.
There you go.
You know what? Redacted. You got me.
The more you know.
I'm going to charge with my walker.
Yeah, more cons than pros for walkers.
Yeah.
Walker is definitely a flavor choice.
Yeah. So if they were toughness 4 base,
That would make a lot of...
I would like them significantly better.
If it was a locomotion option, it should just be
It
a
should be,
locomotion
yeah.
option. If I want to build a light walker,
Yeah.
it should be. And then the fact there's no pre-built walkers, and the closest thing we got to one, the Cawdor Ridge Walker,
Yep.
The wrong trousers, is a mounted option. It's not even a vehicle.
Yeah, it's not even a vehicle. Just
That
make it a vehicle, you cowards.
That should have been a light vehicle. At least then I could understand why it had toughness 3 all around.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of a shame.
Yeah, I agree.
So, that's it for the custom vehicles. There is one more vehicle of which we did not and dare not speak. For it is cursed. It is an abomination. It is Satan in vehicle form. It's maximum overdrive, both in the sense of it's a vehicle we hate and it's terrible.
If I'm going to even rain on this parade even more, there's technically 2 of them.
There are technically 2 of them. This is getting out of hand. Now
is.
there are 2 of them.
Now there are 2 of them.
We'll talk about the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler another day.
And its brother, the Iron Crawler.
And its brother, the Iron Crawler, another day. And why we hate it another day.
So much.
But for the customs, that's it.
Yep.
Overall view, this is my favorite part of the Ash Wastes.
I agree.
Because we talked about how we don't like the Ash Waste campaign in a lot of ways. But I tell you, it is fun to kit bash vehicles and have a place for them. Because there are, let's not to bring up other games in our Necromundown review, but Gaslands is a game.
Yep.
That's a game where you, basically it's this, except even more fleshed out.
Yep.
But there's something about having the vehicles running around with gangers and being able to, jump on them or jump off them, get off and on.
Being able to have the rolling roads scenarios where they're the terrain is moving and you have to keep up. You can jump from vehicle to vehicle, and if you fall, you get extra damage because you...
There's a vehicle upgrade that makes it easier to jump from vehicle to vehicle.
Yeah.
It's called the boarding ramp.
Yeah.
There's vehicle spikes, which if somebody jumps on your vehicle, they take damage.
Yep.
The big downside to the custom vehicles, the prices are not particularly balanced.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Which is a problem in Necromunda in general. Necromunda is an unbalanced garbage fire that we love. But when you're dealing with the unbalanced garbage fire, that means that if you're playing with any kind of winning in mind, and I'm not even talking about win at all cost,
Sure.
No honor in breaking Necromunda gaming. I'm talking about if you've got credits to spend and you're trying to think of a way to spend your credits wisely, a rock grinder is a lot more calling to you than a custom medium.
Yeah.
If you take a custom medium or even a custom heavy, and certainly a custom light, you are kind of making the decision to shoot yourself in the foot for a little flavor.
Yeah.
Now, that's a decision I've made this campaign.
Yeah, I've made it too.
You've made it multiple times.
I'm nothing but mistakes, baby.
Hey, and flavor is the fun in Necromunda.
Yep.
But what we have found in our experience playing this is that it can be a very easy source of disconnect on where people draw that line of fun versus flavor. Because everyone's got that line differently, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think for a moment this is actually a problem of anybody we play with being win at all costs.
No,
because no one is. No one that we play with is. Not even close. But, all of our campaigns have been heavy. There have been far more heavy vehicles, not even counting the Ridge Hauler, which we'll get to. Not even counting the Ridge Hauler, there's more heavies than mediums, and I don't think I've seen a single light so far. You had one in your Cawdor campaign?
I had 2 in my Cawdor campaign, and again, it was shooting myself in the foot for flavor.
And they died every single game I played with them, because it's easier to kill than a ganger, and they're bigger.
Yep.
So that's kind of a downside. I wish they had rebalanced that with the new book.
Yep.
Arbitrators out there, that might be something you consider rebalancing.
Try and tweak.
I don't know a good way to balance it.
Oh, yeah. No.
Because increasing things arbitrarily credits can kind of come across like, well, I have this kit, I want to play with this kit, and now you're not letting me play with this kit.
Yep.
And that really sucks.
Which is why we haven't increased the Ridge Runner.
Right.
Ridge Hauler yet.
Because, if you buy a $90 kit,
you want to be able to play with it.
And it is kind of a shame that GW releases this entire custom workshop system and then kneecaps it by pricing it so that it is just better to bring one of the pre-builts. In every case, it isn't a medium.
Yep. Sometimes I think it would have been better if the pre-builts weren't in there.
On the one hand, for accessibility, it's great.
Yeah.
Because it's real all well and good to go, hey, go kitbash.
Mm-hmm.
But some people look at that and go, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Or I don't have the creativity for that.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend my creative energy for that.
Analysis paralysis.
Absolutely.
All that stuff.
But on the other hand, maybe if they hadn't put those pre-builts in here, they could have pointed to those as the pre-builts you grab.
Right.
Like the customs you grab.
Yeah. So it's like, this is a medium with exactly these upgrades and exactly this weapon, and
right.
This is what it is.
Because as it is, all the pre-builts come with significant discounts for upgrades they have.
Yep.
Which I find interesting and weird.
Yeah.
I guess the idea is that you're getting a discount because you don't have the choice.
But even still.
But with the exception of the Ridge Runner, which is even only kind of an exception, the choices are all choices you'd want to make anyway.
Yeah, basically.
So, not to end this on a downer. That's kind of the only downside to this.
Yeah.
Overall, I love this system.
I do too. I wish it got more stuff, and it actually did recently. It got the boats.
Yes.
It got the boats. We're getting more vehicles every time a new Vaults of Temnos-esque campaign book comes out.
Yep.
And I love it, and I can't wait to see it grow.
Yeah. Thank you for watching this episode of Necromundown. If you like what you saw, please leave a like and comment below. It really helps us out. Specifically, for this one, your homework is let me know what you think of the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler.
Oh, God.
From a design perspective, from a rules perspective, from a price perspective. So we can gather them all up and shame the people who are wrong.
Yeah.
Until that time,